The headlines: Nigerian army destroys Kingpin's den in Zamfara, neutralize one terrorist. Kano State government to arraign APC national chairman Ganduje wife on April 17. World Bank projects a slight drop in Nigeria's inflation to 24.8% this year. South Africa's former president Jacob Zuma wins court bid to run for election. Hello there, good evening and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We begin in Zamfara State, where troops of the Nigerian Army on counter-terrorism and counterinsurgency operations in the state have raided the hideout of a terrorist kingpin known as Yellow Jambros, leading to the death of one terrorist. Troops also recovered several weapons and equally destroyed Jambros' enclave. According to a post on the Nigerian Army site on X, Jambros has been responsible for the kidnappings and other acts of terrorism across parts of northwestern Nigeria. The army says the raid took place at Danjunu village in Maru local government area of Zamfara State. Items recovered, according to the army in the post, include one AK-47 rifle, one AK-47 magazine, 30 rounds of 7.62mm special ammunition, and 150 bags of stolen grains. Staying with security, bandits have shot dead a police officer as a police personnel foiled an abduction attempt on the family members of the incumbent chairman of Buhari Area Council, John Gabaya, at his Tokulo community residence in the area council. Now, confirming the latest development on Tuesday, an aide to the council chairman, who preferred anonymity, said the incident was reported on Sunday. He said bandits who invaded Tokulo community through Kaduna Forest wielding AK-47 rifles engaged vigilantes guarding the chairman's private residence in a fierce gun battle. He said as the exchange of the gun battle raged on, the police team from Buhari division were alerted and promptly responded to the attack on the community and engaged the bandits in a gun shootout. According to him, one of the bandits shot and killed one of the police officers during the crossfire, saying the police officers have successfully repelled the attack with heavy gunfire, forcing the bandits to flee the community. The spokesperson of the FCT Police Command, Superintendent Ade Josephine, has confirmed the latest attack on Tokulo community. Meanwhile, operatives of the Federal Capital Territory Police Command have arrested 4 wanted notorious armed bandits and recovered several rifles in Abuja. Now, the Commissioner of Police in the FCT, Bennett Igwe, who was speaking while parading the suspect at the command headquarters in Abuja on Tuesday, said the arrest of the 4 notorious robbers was sequel to the arrest of one of the members. He said the arrest of the 4 armed robbers was carried out by police operatives of the Utako Police Division on Monday at a hideout in one of the slums in the FCT. The police commissioner also said exhibits recovered from the suspects include 4 locally fabricated AK-47 rifles, 3 locally fabricated rifles using cartridges, English pistol, 1 Dane gun, 3 AK-47 ammunitions, and 1 assault ammunition, as well as 5.56mm and 1 empty cartridge. Away from security matters to Lagos State, where at least 4 shopping complexes have reportedly collapsed as a result of a fire outbreak at the Balogun market. The area has been cordoned off by security operatives to prevent miscreants from looting goods belonging to the victims. Territorial coordinator of the National Emergency Management Agency in southwest Nigeria, Ibrahim Frainloye, says 4 buildings have already collapsed as a result of the intensity from the inferno. To another disaster in Kogi State, where a rainstorm has wreaked havoc in Iyara community of Ijimu local government area, destroying hundreds of houses and rendering over 1,000 people homeless. Reports from the area say an early morning rainstorm was accompanied by a heavy storm which led to the destruction of several houses in the area. Affected families were reported to be currently taking shelter in houses of neighbors, relatives, and of friends, pending the time they are able to fix their destroyed homes. The paramount ruler of the community, Eleta Oluyara of Iyara, Oba Jacob Meduteni, described the disaster as unfortunate, stressing that many have been rendered homeless as a result of the rainstorm. He thereafter called on public-spirited individuals and corporate bodies to assist the displaced victims of the disaster. The national president of Iyara Development Association, Aliu Badaki, said over 1,000 persons, mostly women and children, have been affected by the disaster. The Kano State government is set to arraign former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje in court over alleged misappropriation of state funds and diversion of landed properties belonging to Kano State. An arraignment summons shows that Ganduje is to be arraigned alongside his wife Hafsat and 6 others on an 8-count charge bordering on alleged dollar bribery, as well as diversion and misappropriation of funds, including $413,000 and 1.38 billion naira. Other respondents in the suit include Abubakar Bauru, Umar Abdullahi Umar, Jibrila Muhammad, Lamash Properties Limited, Safari Textile Limited, and Lesaji General Enterprises. Now, the Kano State government, in the criminal charge filed against Ganduje and other respondents, says it has assembled 15 witnesses, and the matter has been adjourned to April 17, 2024 for arraignment before Justice Malam Naabba of Kano State High Court. In other news, the minority leaders of the House of Representatives, all opposition parties, have distanced themselves from the call for the resignation of the People's Democratic Party acting national chairman Umar Damagun by 60 lawmakers on Monday. The coalition of opposition lawmakers had demanded Damagun's resignation, threatening to leave the PDP if their request was not met. Now, in a statement issued on Tuesday, Minority Leader of the House, Kingsley Chinda, Deputy Minority Leader Ali Madaki, Minority Whip Ali Isa, and Deputy Minority Whip George Ozodinobi emphasized that the coalition led by Ikenga Ugochinyere was unrecognized within the parliament. They condemned the coalition's actions, labeling them as absurd and unparliamentary. It further emphasized that the demands made by the coalition did not represent those of the minority parties and urged the public to disregard any misinformation propagated by the group. Still talking politics, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has assured that the right climate will be created for all political parties to operate in engaging the government to offer credible opposition. The governor stressed that this decision was paramount, particularly given the opposition's political parties have conceded the conclusion of the elections and are committed to providing the necessary effective support to enhance good governance in Rivers State. Here's the report.
Governor Fubara spoke when he played host to the leadership of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC River State Chapter, led by its chairman, Barrister Sensi Selsuma Osaro at Government House in Port Harcourt. The governor insisted that an egalitarian society will be engendered so that people can feel free to voice their opinions without intimidation, because those criticisms will contribute to having more focused implementation of policies that serve the general good of the state.
Good governance is, in fact, in primary school we said egalitarian society, where you are expected to be free to air your mind. You're not intimidated. You're not scared. That's the kind of governance that we want to provide. So we're happy to identify with you, and we're assuring you, even if you live here, criticize me, I don't have any problem. It is for me to do well.
Governor Fubara commended IPAC for identifying with its administration and pledging to collaborate for the good of the state. The state chief executive pointed out that no person who truly loves River State, whether embittered or not, will gladly want to burn down the state to achieve personal or political agenda.
River State belongs to every one of us. If my desire is to burn the state down, then I don't love the state. No matter what it is, any right-thinking person, no matter how bitter you might be, for one reason or the other, should first think of River State. If River State is not there, you don't even have a platform. If River State is not existing, that political strength that we're claiming, where are you going to exercise it?
The River State chairman of Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, Barrister Sensi Selsuma Osaro, thanked Governor Fubara for the opportunity to meet with them and announced that IPAC has passed a vote of confidence on the governor. He also announced the decision of IPAC to honor the governor as the grand patron and leader of the umbrella body of all political parties in the state.
Herein lies the core of our visit today, to forge a collaborative bond with His Excellency, to foster partnership for the overall interest of Rivers people. We in the IPAC have passed a vote of confidence on His Excellency and assure you of our collaborative, collective and individual support to succeed now in the cause for justice and liberty. Your Excellency, we stand with you for the cause of justice and liberty.
IPAC presented a plaque of portrait picture, certificates as Grand Patron, and others to Governor Fubara.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Still to come. Cleric urges charitable donation as Ramadan comes to an end. More on this and many other stories up ahead in just a moment. Welcome back to the news. Thank you for staying with us. Let's take another look at the top stories. The Nigerian army has destroyed the notorious kingpin's den in Zamfara State while killing one terrorist. And the Kano State government is set to arraign APC's national chairman and wife on April 17 over misappropriation of funds. Moving on now, commercial drivers and park officials in the nation's capital have expressed dismay over the downturn in travel activities despite the public holidays marking this year's Eid al-Fitr. A visit to Jabi Park in the Utako district of the Federal Capital Territory reveals a stark contrast from the usual travel frenzy that always defines this period in the years past. Here's Trust TV's Noel Sampson with a situation report.
This is the popular Jabi Park on the eve of the Eid al-Fitr celebration. It is a shadow of itself as cars could be seen packed with no passengers in them, unlike other years where travelers will struggle to secure spaces at the few available cars. One of the drivers and a park official spoke to us on the level of patronage this season.
Because this situation now, where we do now, it no be like before. If like before, this time around 2 hours, no motor for garage. Passenger go carry their bag, sit down. But now, Motor plenty. We no increase the money of the transport because of the space of the fuel.
You know, by this time last year, when we were hoping to do Salah the following day, which is tomorrow, last year, people are just loading here, loading. People are coming from Ram. You see Ram all over the car. You see they put Ram on top of the car, loading, going different places. Kaduna, Okene, Lokoja, and all the rest, traveling. But this year, if you see around, you understand, we have been here since morning, you understand, till this time, this to 1. And in this Okene line, we just have only 4 cars that has traveled today. That is the 51 there, no passenger yet.
At the time we visited the park, travelers on ground declined to speak to us on camera, but said the economic situation in the country is responsible for the low patronage, as some are not comfortable with the fares for the journeys. No, Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, staying with the festivities, Sheikh Imam Suleiman Ibrahim, the chief imam of 1004 Mosque in Victoria Island, Lagos, has highlighted the importance of Muslims providing charitable donations of food to the less privileged as part of the festivities. Referred to as Zakatul Fitr, this donation of food is typically given before the Eid prayers, just preceding the end of the month of Ramadan. Trust TV's Abbas Ibrahim Dalibi has more on the story.
Before the Eid al-Fitr prayer, every self-supporting Muslim adult who has food in excess is expected to pay Zakatul Fitr for the love of Allah. Sheikh Suleiman Ibrahim reminded the Muslim to ensure that they do this during this year's celebration.
Zakatul Fitr is zakat we give the alms, that is when the moon is sighted, that is moon of expiration of Ramadan, and then we are coming to Eid al-Fitr. So immediately the moon is sighted, Zakatul Fitr has become compulsory. The Prophet ﷺ made it farilla, that is obligatory act for Muslim to give alms, that is food. He mentioned food, to be given food.
He said the purpose behind the Zakatul Fitr is to assist the poor and also to purify oneself.
And the Prophet ﷺ said if you give the Zakatul Fitr, it clear some errors or some wrongdoings, some unfortunate things that happen within the fast. He said, Tuhuratun Nisa'il. It purify who fast. And then from lagawu, from saying rubbish thing, from a little bit errors that happen within the month of Ramadan. And also feeding is a feeding for the poor in outside, so that he will not be left behind after Ramadan. Everybody is celebrating, everybody is food eating, everybody is enjoying, and then he was one side without having something to enjoy. And the zakat is compulsory for any living soul as a Muslim. Any living soul, even if madman, you have a madman in your house, you pay his zakat al-fitr.
Imam Suleiman added that the quantity of zakat is described by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as 1 sa'i of food, adding that 1 sa'i is equivalent to 4 mud. And a mud, he said, when one puts their hands together, adding that the zakat is obligatory on those who have the means of doing it. Hence, it is not compulsory for those who cannot afford it. Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
The World Bank says Nigeria's inflation rate is expected to decline to 24.8% year-on-year later this year. This development follows the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics reporting that the current rate is at 31.7% in the month of February, which is up from 29.9% recorded in January this year. The report also reiterates its forecast of 3.3% economic growth for Nigeria in 2024, while slightly reducing its projection for 2025 to 2026 by 0.1 percentage points to 3.6%. from the initial January projection of 3.7%. The World Bank highlighted food inflation and the depreciation of domestic currencies as significant contributors to inflation across the country in the countries in the sub-Saharan region. Away from Nigeria, a South African court on Tuesday allowed former President Jacob Zuma to run in May's general elections, overturning an earlier decision by electoral authorities barring Jacob Zuma over a previous conviction. Now, the Electoral Court ruled in favor of Jacob Zuma, who is 81 and who is fronting Okimtowe Sinzwe, which is known as MK, a new opposition party that has become a dark horse in the election race in South Africa. The Electoral Court wrote in its ruling that the decision of the Electoral Commission is set aside without providing an explanation on how the verdict was reached. South Africa is to hold its general elections on May 29 in what is expected to be the most competitive vote since the advent of democracy back in 1994. Zuma's ability to run could be a key factor in the election's outcome. Banking on Zuma's popularity, MK is expected to cut well into the vote share of the already embattled ruling African National Congress, the ex-president's former political platform. Now, this could precipitate the ANC towards its worst result in 3 decades, seeing its drop below 50% of the vote, short of parliamentary majority. Talking sports now, a Spanish judge on Tuesday summoned disgraced ex-football chief Luis Rubiales to testify on April 29 over an alleged graft scandal at the National Federation when he was president, according to court documents. The 46-year-old returned to Spain from the Dominican Republic on April 3rd and was briefly detained at the airport as part of a probe into federation contracts signed since 2018, including one that was signed by Rubiales to take the Spanish Super Cup to Saudi Arabia. Rubiales' return to Spain came 2 weeks after investigators reached 11 locations searching and including the Federation's Madrid headquarters and his home in the southern city of Granada as part of a probe into alleged corruption and other crimes. The Super Cup contracts are worth 40 million euros a year, with the deal brokered by Cosmos, a company owned by former Barcelona and Spain defender Gerard Piqué. Now, during the raids, police arrested the Federation's legal director, Pedro González Segura, and its head of human resources, José Javier Jiménez, as well as the Federation's external legal advisor, Tomás González Quieto. A day later, the Federation sacked both men and ended its contract with GC Legal, González Quieto's firm. Well, that's it. You're up to date with the latest news stories at this hour. We'll be back with more news stories a little later. But for now, check out our website as well as our social media platforms to catch up with more news and documentary context. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for your time.